Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm super excited to bring this presentation to you guys today. And today we got a really special topic that we're going to talk about. And we are talking about how we took a high ticket offer from negative $55,536 to $751,307 in profit with Facebook ads in just about 5 months. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So here is just some proofs to get it out of the way. As you can see, in Q1 of 2022 on Facebook, we spent around 292,000 and they were negative 55,000 in the red. All right, moving on to April 1st to September 30th. This is what the numbers look like. We hit $751,307.31 in just about 5 months. So today we're going to cover a few key things. First off, we're going to talk about how to track your creatives and be able to quickly identify where you need to be putting your money, why they were unable to make their coaching program profitable on Facebook, and what we did to take them from an 80% ROI to a 220% ROI in just a couple of months. And the single most effective way to increase your lead quality and decrease your cost per unique customer. This takes advantage of our 3CA optimization system, and it is actually super simple to set up. And no one is really talking about this sneaky little system in the direct response industry. Plus, we're going to show you how to set up this mechanism for yourself. So we got some really juicy topics to talk about today, and I couldn't be more thrilled to bring this presentation to you guys. So who am I? I am CJ Pales, and I'm a digital marketing manager here at Client Accelerator, where we spend around $40 million a year in ad spend across YouTube and Facebook. Additionally, we've done around 200 million in sales in the past 4 years for high ticket coaches and consultants. And you can do the math on the return on ad spend there. And we've worked with really big names in the industry, such as Anik Singhal, Russell Brunson, Sophie Howard, Stephen Georgi, Justin Goff, Russ Ruffino, Traffic and Funnels. And just a little slight brag, this year we actually showed up on the Inc. 5000 list at spot number 207. And we boasted 2,574% growth in revenue as a company over the past 3 years. So it's been a really exciting journey over here at Client Accelerators. So without further ado, make sure to grab something to take some notes with, because we're going to get started right now. So in terms of the background and who this client was, his name is Douglas James, and he has a high ticket coaching company teaching people how to start a local marketing agency. His offer is $10,000 to $50,000, and initially he was losing money with Facebook ads like we just went over, and his offer was unprofitable on Facebook. So when we took him on, we looked into his Facebook ad account to see what was going on. And we found 3 major key issues. 1, there was a lack of strategy around cold, warm, and even hot audiences. Retargeting audiences were being very poorly utilized, and the overall messaging on his ads just wasn't resonating with the right people. The incongruence in the marketing strategy additionally caused systemic problems in his business by bringing in poor quality leads. The second thing, his scaled campaigns were being managed very poorly. We saw little to no optimization on any of the scaled campaigns. No budget changes, no ad optimizations, no ad set optimizations, nothing. They were following a much unsought after method of set it and forget it. Managing high budgets like this is a huge responsibility, and it needs to be treated as such. Additionally, there was too much creative testing. There's a rule with ad accounts that we follow here at CA where we put 80% of the budget into what's working and only about 20% on testing, very similar to the Pareto principle. So this ad account was actually utilizing nearly half of the budget to test brand new items like ads, funnels, and opt-ins. If you think about this in terms of your time as a business owner, you wouldn't want to spend 50% of your time doing low ROI tasks and 50% of your time doing high ROI tasks. You'd rather spend the vast majority of your time doing your high ROI tasks and delegating the rest of the low ROI tasks. So in terms of what their stats looked like previously, they had a $270 cost per call. Their cost per unique sale was $4,307.11. Their ROAS was 80%. Their gross was $237,347, and their profit was in the negative $55,536.78. They were bleeding that money. And so to dive into the solution, the first big thing that we did was we helped them implement our 3CA optimization process, which allowed us to hone in on lead quality for this client. Basically, we asked potential leads a specific set of questions on the application. And based on their answers, we can actually direct that traffic to 3 different calendar pages to book a call. So, for example, if the lead stated that their budget was under $2,500, we'd mark them a bad lead, or otherwise considered an NQL. And then we would send them to a calendar specifically for low quality leads. If the lead stated that their budget was above $2,500, we'd mark them a good lead, or an MQL, and we would send them to a calendar specifically for quality leads. And if the lead stated their budget was above $4,000, we'd mark them a super lead, or an SQL, and send them to a calendar specifically for super quality leads. So basically, we have 3 different criteria on here, and they all fit under the umbrella of becoming 1, an NQL, 2, an MQL, or 3, an SQL, which just goes to show the actual quality of the leads and puts them into their own bucket. And here is exactly how that system actually works. So from the ad click, the user then goes into the funnel. The funnel has an application which actually sorts out the leads and tells us whether they are not qualified, whether they're actually qualified, or whether they're really, really qualified. And that information either gets sent to the pixel or it doesn't. And in this case, we're actually only sending the qualified lead information back to the pixel so that the algorithm can train a lot more efficiently, because we do not want to send the non-qualified leads and their information back to the pixel because we don't want any more of those people. All of this information then goes into the MQL dashboard, and the MQL dashboard actually houses all of this information in a neat and organized fashion. And so that we can go in there and we can check out more in-depth trends of our lead quality. And then after that, the information from the MQL dashboard actually gets zapped over into Hyros. And so Hyros actually gets automatically updated with the information from our MQL dashboard. And furthermore, this allows us to optimize our campaigns based on cost per MQL, which is a lot more efficient than optimizing based on cost per book call. So on top of that, we were actually able to track which campaigns in the ad account were getting the best quality leads because we used Hyros. All right, so you might be thinking, we have these MQLs, NQLs, and SQLs, but how does this really reflect and how does this even help me in terms of reporting or looking at campaign analytics for my campaigns? And so I'm in the dashboard here, the Hyros dashboard, and as you can see, we have these tags within Hyros. So we can easily come into Hyros and we can apply these tags, and then we can generate a report to identify the leads that were fired with these tags. And this brings me to the second thing that we actually did, which was setting up Hyros. And Hyros lets you track exactly which campaigns in your ad accounts are actually getting you the best results with a 95% accuracy. And so the way that we used Hyros to help us find the best performing campaigns was by installing the Hyros tags like I just showed you. And we installed all the Hyros tags on 3 of those calendar pages, which were marked. And we marked each lead based on their access to their financial resources. Diving back into Hyros here, we have the 3 different tags, and now we can actually generate a report. All right, so now that we have our report generated, we can start to dive into the analytics. So let's look at it from a very high level perspective, and we can see that the cost per call is $145.96. So this is including all of our types of leads, our NQL, our MQL, and our SQL. Now let's go in and dive in and see what our cost per MQL actually is. So the way that we would do this is we'd go back into our reporting and we would simply get rid of the under 2,500, which is the NQL criterion. And then we would go ahead and generate the report. All right, so here is the report, including only the MQLs. So we can clearly identify and see that our cost per MQL is around $75 higher than our overall cost per book call. Now, what's really important here is that we can now see now we're spending around $220 per MQL. So that tells me that our lead quality percentage is somewhere around 60 to 70%, which is really, really good. So here's why this is so important. When you know which campaigns are bringing you the best quality leads, you can shift more budget into those campaigns so that you can get your pixel trained up and get even more quality leads. Additionally, you can start optimizing based on cost per MQL instead of cost per book call, like we just talked about. So let's go back to this report and let's dive in a little bit further. So now we can click into Facebook, and now we can segment it by campaign. And now we can see which campaigns are bringing us the most MQLs for the best price. So as we can see, this top one here is getting MQLs for $154.06. So we can easily take budget from, let's say, this one, which is getting MQLs for $348.84. We can easily shift budget from this campaign over to this campaign to start producing more quality leads. And so when we actually implemented this strategy for the client, we actually cut their cost per sale from $4,307.11 to $2,774.12 for an overall decrease of 35.5%. Which is really, really solid, even with a similar cost per book call. And the last thing that we did was we actually broke out a creative sheet to show individual performances from each individual creative. We had to do this because this feature wasn't available in Hyros back then, and it's still actually being developed as we're talking about this in this video. So this creative tracking sheet allowed us to better optimize our campaigns because we knew which creatives were actually working best. And where the client was spending 50% of the budget on testing new items like creatives, funnels, and opt-ins, now they're only spending 20% of the budget on testing and they're remaining on their best performing creatives. And so with this creative tracking sheet, the client was finally able to start generating more profit. Because instead of spending money on ads that were unprofitable, he now has his money spending on ads that were actually bringing him $2, $3, and even $5 back for each dollar spent. And this is what that creative sheet actually looks like. All the analytics for each individual creative. So we can easily begin to see, all right, this ad right here is producing the most revenue, and this one down here isn't doing so hot. So maybe we need to allocate some more budget towards the ad that's producing $173,000 in revenue and take away budget from the one that's only producing $9,000. So let's recap what we just went over. First, you want to set up an MQL process and filter the leads by sending them to different calendars based on their answers. Then you want to upload the MQL responses to Hyros so that you can track which campaigns are bringing you the best leads and optimize based on cost per MQL instead of cost per book call. And lastly, you want to use a creative tracking sheet to see which ad creatives are working best for you and allocate 80% of the budget towards those creatives. And then use the remaining 20% of your budget for testing. When we implemented these 3 key strategies for our client, here's what the results started to look like. So before, their cost per call was $270.44. Cost per unique sale was $4,307.11. Their ROAS was 80%. Their gross was $237,347. And their profit was negative $55,536.78. After, their cost per call was $241.93. Their cost per unique sale was $2,731.98. Their ROAS was 2.2 or 220%. Their gross was actually $1,392,128. and their profit was $751,307.31. That is their take home, guys. Now, you may be wondering what it was like for Douglas to actually work with us. Well, before Douglas came to us, he had been stressed out about his Facebook ads performance because he was bleeding a ton of money each month. The previous media buyer showed little to no attention to the media buying calls with the client. And when asked questions, he was never prepared to answer them. He wasn't presenting weekly trends or any relevant data for the month or the quarter. And he also never showcased areas of opportunities in the funnels. So when we came on board, they were put in place immediately. Plus, our progress updates were so detailed, Douglas's team would rarely have a question about their ads. Last but not least, we reported on weekly and monthly trends that we saw coming down the pipeline, and reported on individual funnel performance and overall platform performance every single week. This opened our discussions to being able to discuss high-level strategies and rolling out things such as Yield Day, which is a topic for another day. So hopefully you found this video useful. This is exactly what we did to take this seemingly unscalable high-ticket offer from negative $55,536 to $751,307 in profit with Facebook ads. And if you want to know how we could help you too, and if you want our team to set up all of this for you, including the MQL process, the creative tracking sheet, and additionally script all of your ads, put together all of your videos, set up all of your tracking, and you want pretty much everything done for you, what you can do now is you can click on the link that is somewhere in the description below this video. You'll go to a page that looks exactly like this. On this page, you can go ahead and book a call with our team. On this call, we'll go over your entire marketing strategy, and we'll determine whether or not we're actually a good fit to work together. If not, no hard feelings. Worst case scenario, you'll hop off the call with a little bit more clarity about your marketing strategy and what next steps you need to take to further increase your performance on your ad platforms. So hopefully this presentation was valuable for you guys. Hopefully you got some really good information out of here, and hopefully you book a call and head over and go talk to our team.